Hello again. I come to you from kind of a strange space. I uh, I don't know. I don't know where I am. But I know I'm in the midst of gifting and of being gifted. And that's what I wanted to share with you. I've known ever since I was a child that balance was a keynote for me. Finding that, and frankly, looking at my life, you wouldn't believe it. It wasn't a conscious search. It was just something that heart knew. That was a keynote that I was after. It was a part of my purpose for this incarnation, was to find and display and to be that balance, and that it would bring blessing and benefit. I didn't know what it meant. And I'm getting closer to understanding. I won't say that I know now, but I just found myself offering deep gratitude for worthlessness. Yeah, worthlessness. And I just thought, well, that would be a good thing to share. You know, I like the unusual. I like different perspectives, always have. Might have something to do with natal moon closely conjunct Uranus. Opposite sun, by the way, just for fun. Oh, and they're in Cancer. Anyway, for those that understand, you know what I'm saying. For those that don't, it's meaningless anyway. It's no big deal. I like the unusual. And the humdrum is just not a part of my life. Never really has been. Okay. Why would anyone be grateful for anything so horrible as worthlessness? I admit worthlessness and that kind of feeling is frankly horrible. It's icky. It feels awful. It makes you not want to be in your skin. It makes you not like yourself, and so on. All right. I'm just going to flow with this because I don't know how to share it from where I am. I'm really deep into this, and I'm just going to let the words come. What we're doing now is we're ascending, all of us that are ready, all of us that have the desire to do so. It's a free will thing. There are those who are not ascending. Don't worry with them. That's not your process. That's not your life. That's not your path. Just leave it alone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to you. Just drop it. Everybody drop into heart right now, okay? Be in heart. The way and the road out of here is not paved with fire in the mind. It's a heart thing, or finding your center, whatever you call it. So, how are we ascending? In many ways, what I'm looking at right now is this immediate process. Now we're in kind of an eclipse sandwich. We have two solar eclipses, one in early June, one July 1st. In between, we had a lunar eclipse that just occurred on the 15th of June. So you could call this an eclipse sandwich. It's very intense, and we're doing a lot of processing. It's not the most comfortable thing, but that's okay. We're ascending. Nobody said ascension was comfort or comfortable. What does that look like? For me, right now, it looks like all kinds of stuff coming up, coming to the surface. And what has come to the surface for me lately is this energy of worthlessness. I actually stood in the midst of a great big bunch of that energy. It's not current. This is really old stuff. And it's not even necessarily your energy personally. If you're a light worker, you're processing energy. Don't think that it's all your own. All right? Get that out of there. That's the mind entering in. It's energy. Some of it will be familiar, some of it will not. It doesn't matter to what I'm saying now. Okay, so I was feeling tremendously awful. I didn't yet know it was worthlessness. I was just doing the dishes. And my friend was on the road on her way here, due to arrive any day. And I was feeling this horrible, horrible feeling. And so I paused because that's not, I mean, I'm mostly in bliss all the time. I talk about a joy that's 24/7 accessible. And even in the midst of the sense of worthlessness, that joy would be there. But I wasn't going for the joy. I wanted to dive into the worthlessness because, I'm ahead of myself. It was just a yucky energy. I knew I was feeling terrible. I didn't know what it was. And so I was observing it. I was just watching. And I knew my friend was coming. And I wondered, did it have anything to do with that? And as I looked at that, I realized it did. And so I kept observing and wondering and just following the energy back, tracing the energy back. What is it? Where's it coming from? Where's it going? What's its purpose, etc. And it was at that point that I was able to see that what summed it up was a sense of worthlessness. Now, this has nothing to do with my friend or her energy personally. This has to do with my friend being a catalyst for my energy. And so all of this is mine. In that context, I will say my friend is very, very competent in some ways in which I am not. She's a goddess in the kitchen, and I'm doing good to boil eggs. I kid you not. And, we all have various, we have a play of strengths and weaknesses, like a weaving. And where I have strengths, others have weaknesses. Where others have weaknesses or strengths, I find the weaknesses in self. And this is natural and normal. But what was happening was my awareness of my friend's coming stirred up within me. It felt like a very age-old sense of worthlessness. And so I looked at it. At this point, I chose to stand in my own divinity, in my own worth. And so I invited that. I invoked that. And heart took the reins of power. And by exercising choice, it was just that simple. And very quickly, this energy, now, I say dispersed. I don't know. You have to be above a situation or an energy in order to be able to see it with great clarity. I was in it. So I don't know. I do know that it was gone, not to return, disposed of in some way. I don't know. Okay, the test was passed, if you want to look at it from that angle. All right, now that just is a little bit of background. It's like there's a certain kind of energy that's up for me. It's coming up to be transmuted, to be cleansed, to be seen, rejected, cast off. And it's a Holy Spirit kind of a testing or an energy. Now, that still isn't telling you why I would be offering gratitude for worthlessness, so let me try to take you there. I am a being of gratitude. Just like balance, I've known since childhood on a heart level that I am a being of gratitude. It's like a keynote. My whole being resonates to it. And I can be grateful for the good stuff and the bad stuff because gratitude has a certain purity and it's almost not of this world. I don't know it. I don't know, Again, I just know this energy from within it. I haven't stood above it or outside of it or whatever, so I don't have a broader perspective to offer. I am a being of gratitude. That's enough. Okay. So anything and everything that comes my way, my nature is to offer gratitude. And I laugh too, because look around you. Look around at the beings of light, the light workers, the light warriors, at all of us, and look at all the difficulty the dark force is having, the powers that be, in trying to hold us down, trying to muck us up and pollute us and our energy and our consciousness, trying to block us from ascension, from recognizing and realizing who we really are and what we're here to do. And look at the way, no matter what they send our way, we turn it into something good. I think if you are in your heart and you meditate on that, you'll see it. It's like that old saying, when life gives you a lemon, make lemonade. I think that's very natural for the light workers to do. And so it's funny. All right, there is a humor. There is a very big harmonic of humor throughout 3D if you're anchored in heart, which probably means if you're viewing it from your higher dimensional perspective. Seen from within the thing, it's not really so funny, I know. All right, back to gratitude and worthlessness. Why would one offer gratitude for worthlessness? It wasn't a mental thing. It's not a choice that I made. It's a flow that came upon me. These energies keep coming up and keep coming up. And it's happening so fast that I actually have an awareness that they're being forced up and out by the oncoming light. We're in the 2012 thing, folks. You know, we don't have to wait for some magical date on some calendar. We're in the midst of it now. And so we're ascending. And the part of that I'm seeing, like I say, is that I'm going to put words around it that might or might not be comfortable for you. We're integrating the dark, our darkness, our dark side. It's the polarity of the Tai Chi and the balanced union of the yin-yang and the male-female. There's a beauty in a balance and a duality that's perfect. And in heart, as I often say, there is no judgment at all. And so there's no pointing fingers and saying this is good and that's bad, this is evil and that's good, you know, this is wonderful and that's horrible. Things are more pleasant or less pleasant to experience, sure, but you don't judge them for that. They just are what they are. There's just an isness to it, almost a neutrality that you can find this space in heart. Look for it. It's in your heart if it's in mine. I mean, heart is heart is heart. We share the one heart on a certain sense, on a certain level. Remember, everything is a matter of perspective. And be in heart to listen. Okay? You can do that. You really can. I have nothing that you don't have access to. We all have access to the one. I am that. Okay? We can all say this. So, where am I? In integrating the dark side. As our darkness comes up, we don't reject it. We don't should on ourselves. That's very rude, you know. We don't self-criticize, self-judge, or anything else. It's just energy that's rising, and we don't reject it. Now, we don't jump into it, embrace it, and call it our long-lost lover either. It just comes up, and we just be with it, and we observe. And that's sufficient. If you're in heart and you're observing, that's sufficient. Your flow will come, and it will show you what's going on. And it comes with an interior kind of an understanding, and you just know. Okay, So in my flow, I'm making space for this worthlessness, and I'm just looking at it. And as I'm looking at it, I'm seeing it disappear. Heart is moved to make the obvious choice, which is to stand in my own divinity, to invite that in. And even now I have chills in the midst of just sharing this with you. And it's just a flow in heart. Mind has nothing to do with it. And so in standing, inner standing, in divinity, everything's fine. There's a correction in the energies, and something that was here with me and maybe creating problems for who knows how many ad infinitum lifetimes is now gone, transcended, consumed, no longer present. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't oppose it. I didn't resist it. Let us remember, what we resist persists. If you want to keep something with you, just keep resisting it and you'll keep it with you. It works like that. That's the wrong use of the magnet. You've got to flip the magnet over and use it the other way. Reverse those polarities. Stop the resistance. Just let it be and just observe. There's such a wealth in that. We're all very, very wealthy, my friends. We have wealth that is, I don't have words. We are kings and queens beyond. And some may want to say we are this in other realms. Our job now is to be who and what we are and to be it right here. You can be higher dimensional while still present in 3D. Having a presence in 3D does not block you from being present in other dimensions as well. And as an act of will, you can make a choice to, while still abiding in 3D, operate and function from your higher dimensional being. All these dimensions are one. You don't have to go elsewhere. You don't have to be absent from one to be present in another. We function at different levels, even while we can still be seen here in 3D. Now, when we keep raising and raising our frequency, after all, we're ascending. That's what's happening here. All these words that I've said, that's what I'm describing. Rising in frequency. We're ascending the spiral of spirit, if that's our choice. As we're doing that, as we're functioning, let's say I'm functioning from a fifth dimensional level while still present here, maintaining a physical appearance in 3D. At a certain point, as we keep choosing the higher dimensions, as we keep choosing to rise on the spiral of light, we do become invisible on 3D, on the lower dimensions. This is our surest defense and offense in a way, vis-a-vis the darkness. Keep choosing the light, keep choosing the light, keep making the choice of highest integrity in the current moment, whatever that be, without focus on past or future. Just if you be in the now moment, that's where the right choice is, and you make it, and you stand in it, and you watch and observe. We rise and rise and rise. Our choice is higher consciousness. Those making the choice for lower consciousness, those making the choice to misuse and abuse power and control, etc., are making the choice to descend the spiral of light. And so their frequency, by their own will and choice, is lower. And at a certain point, they become invisible to us. We become invisible to them. We're untouchable. And we haven't done it by any kind of interaction with them at all, any kind of resistance, any kind of fighting. The war on anything will be lost, because at its basis it's wrong. We don't go to war. We do this by becoming the fullness of who and what we are, and that is light beings, and that is enough. Truth is its own defense. Now, this stuff is really deep, being hard. Okay, I still have not explained why I would actually be grateful for worthlessness. It might make more sense when I share with you that what I was experiencing in the moment, I've been walking around this morning just having to pause again and again, almost in tears, actually in tears, over this feeling of gratitude that's so intense. And it doesn't have a focus or a source or in anything. It's just being engulfed in this gratitude. I know in my higher self, I'm aware of some goings on. I don't know what those are consciously, but I was and am deeply aware of this sense of gratitude. So at a certain point, I just had to stop and just dive into it and just be in the depth of the gratitude. And what I witnessed in that moment was worthlessness, the absence of worthlessness. It wasn't on its way out, it was gone. And I was offering thanks to it on its way out for what it had brought to me. Do you see it? What I had learned. It's probably been eons and more that in one way, shape, or form or another, I've been dealing with and incarnating a certain sense of worthlessness. I mean, it's a big part of the programming. It's there in all of us. And as it was leaving, and I sensed what it was like being in the absence of worthlessness, my joy knew no bounds. And I found that I was deeply grateful for the lessons learned and for the growth in spirit and strength, in compassion, in understanding that worthlessness had brought me. I would never, as a pure light being, have understood this energy or been able to relate to it in another if I hadn't walked a number of miles in those particular moccasins. That's the sacrifice we as light bearers make. Beings of light can't relate to the darkness and the suffering and all of it. We have to come into it. We have to actually incarnate and experience here. We have to forget the fullness of who and what we are to do this. There's no other way. And so we do. We get lost sometimes, but is that a part of it? I don't know. I don't know everything. I just know what I'm taught and what I'm teaching in the moment. That's real for me. And that's really solid. Now, trying to make generalizations based on it, I won't go there. What good does it do? That's just mind anyway. And so I hope this makes some sense and brings some blessing, because I know I'm not the only one. Don't look up to me. Look up to your own divinity. Look up to your higher self. And just say to yourself, I am that. Goes a long way. Have a blessed day.